The vast majority of my Dungeons & Dragons DMing is either very much made up on the spot, or just kind of goes with whatever I think would be fun. And when someone says to me, ooh, what do you think about the rules for this thing in this version compared to the rules with this thing in this version, or this update and this update? I'm like, it's an imagination game. I'm just making this up as I go along. I have no idea what the rules are or aren't meant to be. I'm just making this up. I understand how armor class works, and I will use that to the best of my ability, but I'm not going to change how I run the game to match what a book should say I have to do. And people say, oh, what do you think about the movement rules? What do you think about this rule, that rule, the other rule? I don't even know what they are. Can we agree that 2-hit armor class 0 was confusing? I understand 2-hit armor class 0, or Tharko, and I still don't understand it. Like, I completely get the maths behind it, but I don't get why. For me, Dungeons & Dragons is basically, anytime something happens, I'm going to think of a number that needs to be beaten on a scale of 1 to 20, and then you just roll a dice to see if you get there. Is that current edition making that number make sense? Dunno. No idea. I don't know. I run Dungeons & Dragons games so we can all just have a fun time and hang out and do some silly stuff and maybe do some combat, and I'm not really bothered about the players dying. It's much more about how they solve problems. That makes me way happy. Yeah, the rules are for the combat stuff, I get that, so I'm not having a go at you. The truth is that I actually don't know the difference. So when someone says, oh, it was like this in one version, this in the other version, this in the other version, it was like this in this version, I don't know. The book is, I like the books for the pretty pictures and the cool items and the interesting stories, and I very much, I buy the books for vibes. I don't think I've ever ran an encounter with an enemy as they are written in the book. That's probably just the most direct way that I can say it. Like, I don't even know, if my party end up fighting a Tarask, am I going to run it as it is in the book? No. They're gonna lose. That's how it's going to be. The books are just guidelines. The books are fun. Sometimes I like reading the rule books just to see what's going on with them, just to get ideas and inspired. Like, I don't even know. Whenever I play Warhammer with my friends as well, I always run one major difference that I really think should be included in the rules. So, not that many people actually play Warhammer 40k or Warhammer Fantasy or the Old World often. It's a relatively rare thing to actually play. People buy it, people build it, people paint it. Very few people actually play it. But allow me... Have any of you in the chat actually played a game of Warhammer? Allow me to suggest something to you that is how I run my games. So the way Warhammer works is this. One person goes first, they take their entire turn, and then someone else goes after them. During that person who goes first turn, they have the first turn advantage. And what this generally means is, if they destroy some of the enemy's models in their turn, when it's the opponent's turn, they then don't have those models. They don't get to shoot back with them. So if on my first turn I spend my entire army shooting at your really big tank and destroy it, when it's your turn, you don't have your really big tank because it's been destroyed. And that can kind of suck sometimes. And the reason that can suck is because you then don't get to use a cool model that you brought with you. And I think that feels bad. That's like a feel bad moment. I know that obviously you're going to want to shoot the tank, but it just kind of sucks to have half your army shot off the board in the first turn. That doesn't feel good. So what I do with this is I play player 1's turn, player 2's turn, death turn. Consider this. During player 1's turn, they shoot, they do all the damage. All of the damage is then marked onto whatever is taking damage, but you don't actually resolve the damage yet. Then the second player takes their turn, and everything is there. Even if something would have died, it's actually still on the field. They get to shoot back with their full army at full strength, and they mark all of the damage that would have done. And then once the first player's turn and second player's turn is over, he didn't drop it. Then we go to the death, and then everything gets destroyed. Hang on, Capistar. Sounds like some pussy shit, bro, not gonna lie. Oh, Capistar, I'm sorry that I'm not playing with my toy soldiers in a way that makes you think that I'm tough. Mate, we're playing with plastic soldiers on a tabletop that I sat and painted while listening to a podcast about anime. I'm not exactly out here winning the physical 100. What are you on about? Oh, this guy's playing Warhammer in a way that makes it slightly fair for the person that goes second and allows both armies to have 100% power to shoot at each other and then everything dies simultaneously. What a pussy! He should play Warhammer the way I play Warhammer. You put the models down and then you fight the other person. Winner gets the other person's models. You're just too tough for me. I can't do it. You're just far too tough for me. You just walk in, you drink a shot of whiskey, you smoke a cigar, you slap the person that works at Games Workshop, and then you walk out with whatever model you want. And everyone in the shop just goes, oh, that guy's cool. There are armies that have low initiative, at least in fantasy, but high damage. As long as all players agree and have fun, it's okay. Yeah, pretty much. As long as all players... How would you reconcile tactics like ambushes? You tend to talk to the person that you're playing with and say, hey, how are we going to do this? I think one of the worst things to happen to Warhammer was to try and codify every single interaction so it doesn't require any discussion with your opponent. I really think that if it's a mechanical board game that needs every single possible option to be covered, like Magic the Gathering, then having super detailed rules works really well. If it's a game that is based on the social interaction between you and your opponent, then leaving some of those things kind of ambiguous actually makes that better. The tournament meta has taken over the direction of just playing with your toy soldiers. Like, if I'm playing with my toy soldiers and I've got my, my Space Marines or my Astra Militarum or whatever I'm playing, and my opponent says, can we, maybe roleplay this as in my little dude sees a guy that he recognizes and wants to have a one-on-one fight with your commissar? Absolutely, we can play that. Of course we can. I would rather we finish a game of Warhammer having collectively told an incredible fictional battle than me winning. That's most important to me. The value to me is in the fictional battle being a fun story to retell. You're not very experienced. How do people handle the death of a player? Astro, what generally happens is there is a funeral and the friends and family of the deceased all attend. People generally wear black and you pay your final respects. Everyone has a little cry and then you just kind of move on with your life. And then most importantly, you replace the player.